Welcome to the categories walkthrough. This should get you set up in just a few moments. It is relatively easy, like all of our games, to set this up and have it ready to go. So from the dashboard screen, navigate to categories. When you click on Manage Your Games, you'll notice if you don't have any created that you can create your first game. Game title, I'm just going to call this Test Categories. I'm going to call the class name anything you want it to. I'm going to call it the AI Marketing Toolkit, which is my award-winning class that I teach for real estate agents. But you can name the class whatever it is that you want. Attach it to a particular training session, maybe a weekly meeting that you do where you have to review these categories on the regular, whatever it might be. Add any sort of description if you want to, and then click Create Game. At this point, you now have the ability to edit and run the game. When you click on Edit, you'll notice you have the ability to import questions. And once you do, you'll be able to see all the categories that you have set up, as well as set up anywhere from 2 to 6 teams. Before we import information, under each category for categories, you'll have an answer that is actually the clue shown to players on the game display. And you'll have the question, which is the correct response from players that you should get for the clue that they're given. You can manually enter all of this information for all 3 categories, and each category has 5 questions. So you can make this a pretty detailed and thorough game for your classroom. If you want to upload information from a CSV file, you simply click the Download Sample CSV and update it accordingly. Inside of Google Sheets here, I have what that sample looks like. You've got your 3 categories here, and those names should match all the way through. For each row, you have the answer, which is the clue given to the players, the question, which is the right answer, and its accompanying point value from 1 to 500. In reality, the only things that you need to update are what your 3 categories are, and that category should be on 5 rows, what the answer is, which is the clue, and what the question is, which is the answer, similar to a game show and a game that people play on a routine basis. Inside of here, you just simply click on this button. You can upload the category sample like I've done here, and you'll notice that all the questions have automatically uploaded. When you've done all of that, and you want to add as many teams as are required for your classroom, in this case I'm going to add 3, just simply click on Save Changes. When you've done that, you now have the ability to run the game and open the display. Just simply click on Run, and this is your game controller. This is what you will see on your end in terms of controlling the game. You'll see the teams, you'll see the Games Hub, you can go back to the editor, you can open the display, or you can reset the game. The reset the game will basically zero out scores, zero out categories that have already been selected. The display will show the game display as it will be seen by the participants. The editor will take you back to the editor screen we just saw, and the Game Hub will take you back to the Game Hub where you can select whatever game it is that you want. When you click on the game controller here, you'll notice that below pops up the question, what the answer is, and what the right question or response should be. You can select whichever team has the right to answer that question, and award points accordingly. So in this case, when you select a team, a counter automatically begins, and you can hit correct or incorrect. And you notice here when I hit incorrect, it subtracts $100 from the team. And if I hit team 2, it will do the same thing by adding in $100 to team 2, and you can continue to the next question. The nice thing about this is that it is mobile responsive. So I'm going to use the emulator here to show you what it would look like on a mobile device. If you haven't logged into that mobile device before, you may have to log in and get a verification code. But here you can see that from my phone, I can hit the response and it will come up in an interactive, mobile-friendly format. So again, if I say Team 1 answers the question, selects the question, and hits correct, it shows that the response for Team 1 has been recorded, and we can continue on to the next question. And when I X out of this, I'll also show you what the display looks like. The display is an extended display. So in other words, you would have an extended presentation, and this is what the class would see when participating in the game. I'm going to go ahead and minimize this so that you can see both screens at the same time. I'm going to size these accordingly and then show you how this is working. So if we select on the controller 300, you'll notice that the screen now shows on the display side what we are waiting for in terms of the team. And I'm going to select Team 1 again. It says Team 1 is answering, and you'll notice the countdown here. And it says this is the clue for $300. And I'm going to say they answer incorrect. Well, you can see that the score has been updated on my end, on the controller end, and on the display end, we can wait for whatever team is selected. Well, let's say Team 3 is selected, and they get the answer correct. It now shows a correct response, what the answer is, in other words, what is the clue that was given, and what the question is, and that is the answer that we're looking for. We continue on to the next question, and you see the game board has been updated with zeroed out categories that can't be selected anymore, and the point totals for each individual team. And at this point, you now have the ability to run the categories style game. And at the end of all this, when you want to reset it for the next class that you teach that might use this game, you just simply click reset. It zeroes out the scores, zeroes out the board, and you are now back to being able to teach this fresh to the next class.